You are listening to All Burgundy and Gold Everything, powered by the Urban Sports Scene and Fox Sports Radio 96.9 FM and 1340 AM. Hopewell, Virginia. Your hosts are Wole, Ray, and Mo. What's good, fellas?
What's up, family? How y'all doing, man?
We good, man. Glad to have Mo back, man. And Ray, what Ray you was on
Well,
last
Ray, I said Ray. I kind of took a break because I just been, September was a busy month for me.
Yeah.
And at the end, I think I just kind of fell off. I fell off. I ran a 10K. I went to Carolina with HBCU Legends. I just did a whole lot.
A whole lot. And also, I forgot the homie Glen's out, so celebrating his anniversary. So, you know,
and the Commanders got humbled over the past 3 weeks.
And they got humbled, bro.
I want to take some time off. I want to take some time off because if people can go back to YouTube, by the way, subscribe. I'll mention that later. But if you go back to YouTube, Wole, you was at the game, that Jaguars game. You was flexing at the end of that game.
I was flexing.
Remember he saw the safety that we didn't see on the TV?
Yeah, I saw that thing. I saw it. I need to go back. They missed me.
Mo is in the building this weekend, so
they didn't miss me.
I'm gonna represent the squad this weekend, man. We got
some
like 104 tickets, man. So we're gonna have an up close and personal look.
Yeah, I can go to the games.
I got the press box, Mo, but I sacrificed for the team. I'm not gonna go. It's either one of us. It's either all of us or none of us.
No, I could definitely go to a game every week if I wanted to. Not press thing, but I can get.
So we know, and that hashtag is not helping.
Hashtag's not helping. Hey yo, you're right. Forgot. Hashtag fire Scott Turner. We in there. We in there,
bro.
That thing going viral, man. That's what we doing right here.
Hey, look. I clicked on that joint, and like 80% of it is Wole.
I know it's all me, no. But you know, I got a bunch of. What's so funny though?
It's some
other
people that's
like I don't know what.
Yeah,
they reply like I don't know what.
I see it, but it's still hilarious though.
I know, dog. Oh man. But hey, Ray, you can go next. I'm good.
I'm sorry. Subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, and Google Podcasts. Just search All Burgundy and Gold Everything with the Urban Sports Scene. Also, tweet us at ABG_everything and hit us up on IG, ABG_everything. And like our All Burgundy and Gold Everything Facebook page.
Man, while y'all at it, make sure y'all subscribe to our All Burgundy and Gold Everything YouTube channel as well.
All right, man, it's time for the pregame. Here's what we got on tap. We'll preview the Washington Commanders' upcoming game against the Tennessee Titans. Mo, you're going to be in the building, man.
You know
it's
it, man.
Situation, man. It's a dope situation. Commanders, you know, they got that home game. The team is 1-3, and for the last 3 weeks, they've been horrible. It's the truth, man. How important is this team? How important is for this team to go get into a fast start?
Man, I don't even know if it's really about a fast start, but I know they need to have a commitment to the run, right?
Yeah.
And I think the hashtag is alive because of the up and down nature of the coordinators calling the plays, right? Whether they run for 150 yards or they run for 50 yards, he abandons it.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, now he's throwing off the balance of the team, especially a team who has a lot of weapons on the outside and a newfound quarterback that it just seems like he want to play with his new shiny toys.
Yeah.
Right, rather than putting the team first. So with Brian Robinson hopefully coming back off the mend and him being a physical presence just in his stature and the way that he runs the football, he's decisive and when he cuts and all that kind of stuff. I want to see them commit to the run and let there be less shots taken on Carson Wentz. Right, the offensive line is in shambles right now. It's been decimated over the last 2-3 weeks. Has really gotten decimated. Protect your assets. You traded two third round picks for this guy. He's supposed to be the best quarterback that's come through here in a little while. Like, protect him from himself. We know that me and my guys got a phrase. Carson's gonna Carson.
Yeah,
right.
That's true.
So protect Carson from Carson. Protect Carson from Carson. I know AG sometimes is indecisive with the way he runs and what hole he's going to hit. But you gotta continue to keep the team balanced. You got to keep them in the game. As long as the defense can do what they need to do, I think that he can commit to this run game, and then we can really see what the wide receivers can do on the outside, right?
Yeah.
We've seen Jahan Dotson make some plays.
Yeah.
We've seen Jahan Dotson make some, even though he's going to be out this week, it seems like.
Yeah, he is.
Right?
He's out. He's out. He's going to be out.
Matter of fact, fast start. He needs to have a fast start with TM17.
Yes.
I don't understand this getting away from the marquee player on the offense. I don't understand this paying this guy all this money this past off season and just treating him like
secondary wide receiver. Yeah.
Secondary wide receiver to who? Curtis Samuel.
But Curtis Samuel involved quite often. You raise all valid points, man. Hashtag fire Scott Turner. So to me, when I look at this situation for this team, it's not about, like you mentioned, Mo, it's not about getting into a fast start, but it's about, to me, playing a ball control game, with this team. And it's wild, why I'm so critical of this offensive coordinator is that I literally listened to RG3, like he was on the Junkie show or whatever, and he literally was talking about how you protect the bad offensive line. He said in 2012, Washington had a bad offense, like basically didn't have a great offensive line. All they had was Trent, for real. And Coach Shanahan, he did things to kind of mask the offensive line. Like he did quick game. He did a lot of bootleg action. You know what I mean? He basically said that, well, lack of a better term, some of the dudes on the O-line basically took the time off. They had those plays off because, like, what they did to kind of mask that bad line. Like, they made the defensive linemen think. And that's what bothers me about Scott Turner. Like, just use the prime example of the Cowboys game. We use that as an example. They ran the ball well. Jonathan Williams ran the ball well. AG in the first half. Antonio Gibson ran the ball well. So what do you do off of that, right? What do you do off of that? You ain't see no bootlegs. You do any of that type of stuff to kind of move the offensive line. What happened was play action and a big step drop with an O-line. They can't protect that long. If you clock some of the amount of pressure that Carson received, like a lot of people say he holds the football. Couple plays, yes, he held the football. But if you really did the most of the game, and really clocked how certain people got through within 2 seconds, like it was just a bad offensive line. So you didn't do anything to mask that. Like you didn't do anything in terms of, because you did have a strong running game, like to kind of work off of that alone. Like that's my issue when I talk about this coordinator. Like he out here playing checkers and defensive coordinators are playing chess. That's the issue. So in this game, to me, like sometimes, and I think Rivera kind of talked about it in his presser on Monday. He referenced that. Not a lot of people really paid attention to it. He said, like, we were really successful he referenced last season in that stretch when they won like 5 or 6 games in a row. I want to say 5 games in a row or something, 4 games in a row, I think, something like that. But he was stressed out. Like he was stressing that we ran the ball more than we passed the ball, and we won a lot. We went on that winning streak. He referenced that. And I was like, that's odd. Why are you referencing that, in this presser? So it has me thinking that you mentioned Brian Robinson Jr. He's coming back. We saw what some of those dudes did, like McKissick, Gibson, Jonathan Williams did in Dallas. They ran the ball effectively. I think they're going to have that same type of they play that type of football, ball control, keep their defense off the field. And you see, and I'm going to say this too, you see that granted they gave up a lot of penalties, but that defense is way more effective when they're fresh. Like you see it, like way more effective when the offense isn't 3 and outs. Even like, though they didn't still score, but they had some first downs, right? In terms of the running the football. So the defense wasn't on the field like right after, you know what I mean? So they were a rested defense. So I think that you're going to see that type of style against the Tennessee Titans. I'm not saying it's going to be wins or losses, but it's going to be better for this team to go that route with the way their offensive line is playing. So I think that's the key. They to me, going into the game, like you said, Mo, it's not about having a fast start, but to me, it's controlling the game.
Mm-hmm. And it's
right.
Like, it's literally being patient.
Yes.
Right. And especially like against a team like the Tennessee Titans that are not a high power offense because they've lost their number 1 weapon on the outside, plus the number 1 draft pick this year. I believe he's suffering an injury. He's on the mend right now, right?
From Arkansas, right?
From Traylon Burks. He's on the mend right now, right?
Yeah.
So that leaves them an opportunity where only Robert Woods is the only lone receiver, right? Because they don't have anybody else a proven commodity anywhere else in their receiving core, whether it's outside of Austin Hooper at tight end that hasn't. That is like they don't have any chemistry just yet.
Yeah.
Right? Tennessee is a big run team and play action off of that, right? That's when Tannehill is at his best.
Yes.
So this is the game to control the clock. This is the game to commit to the run, make it sloppy it up, right? Muddy it up, beat Tennessee at their game. Because Tennessee's having offensive line problems also.
Yeah.
And although they have a stud in the middle of their defense in Jeffrey Simmons, I think we would take the collection of the Commanders' defensive line versus Tennessee's offensive line versus the other way around, right? So this is a game where you can muddy it up a bit. This is a game where you can muddy it up. This is a game where it's like it's legitimate fall weather on Saturdays in the 60s. You know what I mean? Good football weather. You can run. You can try to dictate the time of possession. Make a few big plays here and there. Save Carson from himself. Get TM17 involved because he should be the one making the plays with the 2 wide receivers out, and get going where you got to go. But it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to get to be pass happy against this Tennessee team because of who they have in their secondary and Kevin Byard, right?
Yeah,
we know,
we're
talking about a top 5 safety in the league covering over the top. They have better than decent corners, right? They have better than decent corners. So there's opportunities there that if they run the ball well, that they can draw up the linebackers and keep one of these safeties' eyes off of the deep shot and then connect once or twice and make it a close game and squeak one out.
Yeah, so it's the same the recipe that the coach ran with last season with Carson Wentz. So it's not. I mean, he's used to running that type of offense.
But it is a different type of play.
No. I'm just talking about if you run the ball enough. I'm just saying, like, you run effectively. Just not the same dude, but you know what I mean. Run effectively. All right, this question's for you, man. It looks we all talked about Brian Robinson Jr. We've talked about him. He's coming back after being shot in the leg. A few months. Last month, basically. What kind of shot in the arm? No pun intended. Will this give the Washington Commanders?
Say it again.
Like, all right, Brian Robinson.
So what type of what will you get the Commanders?
Oh, what's up? What kind of shot in the arm? No pun intended again.
Oh, wow.
All right. Will he?
I thought that was a Freudian slip because I'm not looking at the script right now.
I know it's all good.
Of course, he's going to bring some confidence to the backfield. Although I felt like, especially in the first half, Washington ran it pretty good against Dallas.
That's my point. I agree with you.
Regardless of the run game, while I agree with Mo that the run definitely needs to be first and foremost in terms of game planning. Terry McLaurin, I agree with that. Although he's gone up against some tough dudes these past 2 weeks in Slay and of course Trevon Diggs. Shout out to the DMV. But I was thinking about Carson Wentz and this issue with pocket presence, and I'm just wondering, is it too late for him to adjust or for him to evolve in terms of being able to essentially get better in the pocket? Because I feel like sometimes like Russell Wilson to me has like an innate ability to escape the pocket and to be able to manipulate defenses. And you start that at the high school level. And I know when you get to the pros, the speed of the game is different. Everybody at their position is at the top of the game because it's the NFL. So I don't know if Carson Wentz can become better in the pocket. But
Ray, you know what I think? To that point, Ray.
Go ahead.
Let's look at Carson Wentz. We're talking about a guy that went to North Dakota State. Lesser competition, right?
Good point.
Where these skills probably weren't harnessed the way they needed to be because they're the Alabama of the 1AA.
Yeah, they got a bunch of dudes that they got a bunch of you're right. There's a bunch.
They're the Alabama of the 1AA.
They're like undefeated almost. Then Trey Lance went to
Trey Lance.
Trey Lance went there. The quarterback before Trey Lance was the backup in San Diego. He was a dog over there. Kenny Galladay had some time over there. They got a couple of NFL guys that went there, transferred out, or something else, right?
This is true.
So you're talking about the Alabama of the 1AA circuit, right? It kind of lends itself to the Alabama quarterback situation. We never trust the Alabama quarterback. Why? They play with superior talent all around them, right? And the offensive line is always secure. So I don't think it lended itself for him to take those lumps and learn those things when it was in his formative years. Right? Then he came into the league, number 2 draft pick. Philly had a solid line with Jason Peters leading that charge, Jason Kelsey in the middle, right? Solid line for those years. But what I think Carson Wentz is now, I don't think it's the matter if he can learn. I think Carson Wentz is like one of those old boxers. He's got one too many punches, one too many blows. And like, I feel like as soon as he sees a DN flash,
he has to away.
Everything goes out of the everything goes out.
But this is the thing about, like, this is my issue with the line, with the, bring it up. Like Carson Wentz, he's a type of quarterback needs to be in a certain situation. This is the truth. Like, he needs, if you want to get a Carson Wentz, you got to have a situation, you have a good O-line. Like, you have to have a good O-line to have a Carson Wentz. This is the truth. Like, this is the truth. There's certain quarterbacks that
It lends
Yeah.
itself to his game.
Yeah, to his game. That's his game because he's a guy who, yeah, he's a guy that holds the football waiting for the big play. So why would I? You know who he is, but you can't
No, she
change.
didn't.
There's certain people you can't change. Like I'm not gonna have like young Mike Vick. I'm not gonna have him in a certain offense. Like I'm not going to. I know who
I'm
Mike
not
Vick
gonna have
is.
Deshaun Jackson running
Yeah,
routes.
yeah. You know who you are. Like you know what it is. Like you got Carson. If you did your scouting report, everybody knew off the bat. Like Carson holds the ball. Like he wants to get the big play. You know what I'm saying? Like if you look at for instance, like or if you watch, all right, like if I give you a scouting report on Justin Herbert, he likes to look for the big play. If I give you a scouting report, if Justin Herbert gets older, that's going to be Justin Herbert. Not like Carson. Justin Herbert's better than Carson. Like this is not a comparison that way. But in terms of the style of quarterback that he is. So all I'm saying is that like Washington messed up by like, you know what? We don't need this offensive lineman. We don't need this offensive lineman. We're cool with Noel. We're cool with Trey Turner. Like we're cool with individuals like that to be your guards or whatever. You know what I mean? Like you chose this.
I think what Wole's saying is if you're going to commit those 2 third-round picks,
like you gonna have
valuable picks.
You're going to have to build correctly around him. Like you got to build correctly
around personnel.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see. That's why I was going there because we were talking about the run. I agree with you guys. You're going to have to commit to it. You have no choice because of what we're talking about. The film is out there. The blueprint is out there for Carson, and now it's out there for the Commanders. It's out there for the offense. We talked about it on other shows.
Yeah.
The offense, people know it. It's simplistic. It's easy for defenses to stop the Scott Turner's offense, And if he is going to be an innovator, which he is said to be, then he's going to have to go away from his normal script and maybe even ask some questions around the league to someone who can help him. Does he have a mentor? Can he talk to his own father? He's got to do something because at this point, you can run the football, but as you saw with Dan Quinn, he adjusted in the second half, and then you had no choice but to become pass happy, and that's not going to work.
Well, that's the problem. Like that was the issue I'm talking about. Like that's the issue I was talking about. Like you're right, but like with multiple teams, this is the problem. This is the thing. When multiple teams can run the ball as effective as Washington did in the first half, they were effective. Like they were effective.
Right.
You call plays off of that, but he didn't call correct plays off of that. That's the issue. Like the issue is he was still doing 7-step drops when you knew like you couldn't. All right, I said this last week. You thought the Eagles defense was good. Dallas defense is way better than the Eagles defense. Right. So if you had an issue with that, oh boy, Micah coming into play. Lawrence is coming into play. Like these are dudes that are legit. They're still in their primes. Like Micah ain't even at his prime yet. Micah's just good. He just like that. He's not even at his prime yet. You know what I'm saying? So like you didn't even play. Yeah, you didn't play off of you running the football like that. Like so that was my issue. It wasn't about like we're gonna do with Carson. You didn't even do the correct stuff around that. You ran the football well. Where's the bootleg out? Where's the boots? Did you see boots?
Where's the boots? They didn't move the pocket.
They didn't move the pocket. Like you did all this off the run, you see this?
Even in the run game, they didn't run no counters, nothing off script. Nothing off script.
Even this, look at Ray, you had Kyle Shanahan like in Atlanta, like you saw, he run the ball off that. He's running stuff off of that same stuff. You barely saw any of that.
Yeah, I mean, I know why you make the Kyle comparison or you bring Kyle up because Scott Turner was supposed to be in that class.
No, not even just that. No, not that. It's because
saying what he should
running.
do.
Because he's running. Because Scott, for instance, because he can run the ball effectively and he can counter off his runs. Like with plays that look similar to his runs.
I was about to say
that's what I'm saying.
He gives you the same.
Thank you.
The same looks, multiple formations, like with the same. Like he'll run the same running play out of 4 different.
Well, see, that's my problem. That's my problem.
Turner doesn't do that.
That's my point. So if you're going to go into this game against the Titans, and the Titans are watching film from the first, what is it, 3 weeks? Then obviously they're going to say, we got this. They're going to be confident with whatever they run because they feel like Washington does not have much of an attack.
Great.
And then from a defensive standpoint, I know that there was some discrepancies with the officiating. I know that. I mean, we all saw it. The
last game was really sloppy.
It was bad. It was so bad. At the same time, though, the Commanders aren't good enough to overcome those self-inflicted.
Not at all. Not at all.
You defensively have to limit the penalties so you don't give Tennessee additional
And all
chances,
legit
which
penalties.
like most
They're
said,
all
9.5.
legit penalties, and they're all legit penalties. I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah.
saying they weren't.
Now, on the flip side, Dallas got more opportunities because they weren't flags called on holding on multiple times. I mean, Montez Sweat, my goodness. I mean, I don't know.
Hey.
The refs were right in front of it, which, and again, I don't want to go there. What I'm saying is the Commanders had how many flags? I mean, it was insane. It was almost 200 yards of
It
penalties
was
that they had.
three. I think it was a lot. They had a lot of flags.
They had double-digit flags, and they had. I mean, it was
The discrepancy was
well
the discrepancy
right.
was terrible. Like,
it was bad. It was bad, but the Commanders committed too many penalties, so they're gonna have to reduce the amount of penalties that they have on defense, because if you give Tennessee more opportunities, that's not gonna bode well in your favor, because offensively you don't know what you're going to get necessarily, because right now of the challenges the offensive coordinator is facing, and then your quarterback, this is who he is. This is what you guys are telling me. There's no way to fix his pocket presence at this stage of his career. It's like Tim Tebow and what's his name? Vince Young. You're trying to fix the throw motion. It's too late. So now you either going to have to bring in another offensive mind. You got to bring in a good quarterbacks coach. You got to do something in order to help this dude, because we know he has a big arm, and that's what you want with the supporting cast. You do not want to waste Jahan Dotson's rookie year. I mean, he might be offensive rookie of the year. It's like Chase. In a 7-9 year, he was defensive rookie of the year. But at the same time, was his impact really felt on a team that was overall wasn't a very good team? They lucked up and they played some teams that were wounded towards the end of the season, and the division was bad that year. So you have all this talent. We talk about it. Scott Turner has to adjust, and he needs help. That's where Coach Rivera comes in at. This is your staff. This is your roster. This is everything you constructed. It's up to you to fix it, period.
And what my problem with Ron Rivera is, he comes from another regime in Carolina where the emphasis was running the football. Multiple running backs. Like he had a running back of every stature, every ability. You had the slasher and D'Angelo Williams. You had the thumper and Jonathan Stewart. Then you had Tolbert, who was like a fullback / another thumper and catch the ball on third down, pass protection when the other two couldn't get down. Right? So he has that old school mentality, but like it's like he's letting Scott run amok of the offense.
That's the issue. And
right?
Same thing with Del Rio.
It's like, why are you not reining this guy back in right now? I think Scott got some pictures or something. I'm just saying.
My issue to your point though, my issue with Coach Rivera is it's not that I think Coach Rivera is a bad coach, because I don't want to use that. Like, I think a lot of people think he's a bad coach, but I think he defers way too much. Like, because there are examples like Ray, you watch. I mean, you an Atlanta fan, so you've seen the Carolina Panthers up close and personal as a fan watching them play. Like, how many times have you seen that A-gap blitz here in DC that they ran in Carolina? Barely. How many times have you seen, barely? How many times have you seen them running the football? I know you're gonna say they don't have the linebackers. I agree. I know you're saying it. I get that, but just to run it
I'm
though,
not saying that
like.
No.
Yeah, I'm talking about Mo. Mo's gonna say. I know. I see Mo. I see Mo's face.
I mean, I think that A-gap point that you're trying to make, I think that was the significance of the 4 straight defensive linemen in the first round.
Well, see, that's where Hurney comes into play. I thought that's why you brought him here, so you could construct a roster that would mirror what you were doing in Carolina.
I get
but
that.
Carolina had that though. Remember, Carolina was heavy in the first round with Starlin, Kool-Aid.
But they had a tight defensive line too,
though. If you take it way back, it was Mike Rucker. It was
Chris Jenkins. Julius Peppers.
So they had a tight line. They had the same thing. They had a tight line too, and they still do the same thing. That's what I'm saying. Like,
to the new wave, he had Starlin, Kool-Aid.
Yeah, he's always had a good line.
Like, he always was good with that interior. I just don't think this team has found a Luke Kuechly. You know what I mean?
But I'm just saying,
Dan Morgan or nobody that.
Or John Beeson.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying, but at least to do it like the blitz. I'm not saying you got to do the hide. No, I just want to see it being done. Like, you're at a point right now on your team, right, where when you're in coverage, it don't matter.
But where's the middle? I gave the answer up. Where's the hole in your defense, Wole? Directly in the middle.
Yeah, I know, but you're not getting any pressure.
I can't send that guy, Wole.
Jamin gets through. Jamin gets through. If you use him, he gets through.
But I can't send the middle guy.
Yeah, I'm saying. Yeah, I'm not arguing, but it gets to a point though. But this thing, Mo, it gets to a point. This is my thing. I know you're right. I'm not saying that.
Do something different.
Yeah, you can't be passive. defensive, like you got to dictate. You can't be a passive defense. When you
That's
start
true.
being a passive defense, you've already lost the battle.
You've
I'll be
already
real with
lost,
you. And
especially
especially if you win the coverage
Yeah.
and it's not working out for you and you're still giving up big plays. This is my thing. If you're in coverage and you're giving up big plays, it don't matter anymore. Like when you're right, if you're in coverage and you don't give up big plays, I agree with you. But when you're in coverage and you're still giving up big plays,
That's
it
true.
doesn't matter.
You might
See?
as well send the kitchen sink, huh?
Well, I made that point, and all of what you're saying is relevant to what I'm about to say now. And that's if you're going to win this game, which I believe they are. I told you all that earlier. The defense is going to be the catalyst for this victory. I promise you, if they get that pressure on
agree.
Tannehill, then it's going to be a different type of ball game. And we know the Commanders, at least from my vantage point, are pretty good against the run. Pretty
they
good
have
against
been.
the
The
run.
last couple of weeks, they have been good
So
against the run.
I
Solid.
feel like this
Well,
is
against
the
the Dallas
perfect.
Cowboys,
This is
solid.
the perfect game, and then you got Chicago after that. You have a chance to kind of right this ship.
Well, you
to a
know
degree.
what? Let's get to. I'm gonna ask you a question, and Rafe, to you. Like, is this a must-win game for the Commanders? Then
And you're 1 and 3.
why?
I said 1 and 2 earlier. My bad.
No, you're
y'all.
1 and 3. You're right though. You said you got
Yeah.
Chicago. Is this a must-win?
No.
game?
I said earlier. I said the first
it's
3
all
weeks.
good, yeah, it's all good.
Anyway, is this a must win?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Every game from here, from this point, is must win. And
Agreed.
I know
I thought the
we
Cowboys game is a must-win, but go ahead.
well, I feel like going into that game, they were at a disadvantage.
Cooper Rush. I think Cooper Rush is trash. But go ahead though. That's just me though. I think he's
I
trash.
mean, but
Okay,
Cooper Rush is doing what Cooper Rush is supposed to. He's just managing the game.
I know,
man.
believe me, there's throws. I
Yeah.
watched enough of him in that game to
Well,
know that he's
see-
trash. I'm sorry, he just throwing the ball up on him. Some of them blitz, even though they called penalties, he was throwing them things up. He was just throwing them up.
Listen,
That's what makes me mad
Cooper,
about.
Cooper got
I
bailed out.
get
Cooper
it.
Rush
I
got
get it.
bailed out.
I'm an Atlanta fan. You mentioned that already. That's literally what Taylor Heineke
Tell
did
Heineke,
to
I
Atlanta
agree.
last year.
And what did I tell you? And I said
But
he's
you know what
trash.
else? I'm
I
an
said he's
Atlanta fan.
trash.
Drew Brees, he did the same thing forever. I promise you. I love Drew Brees. I loved him in college. In college, he seemed like he had a strong arm. I feel like after the elbow injury, he had the same arm for real. But he literally threw the ball up.
Dude,
We the
man
same
had
height.
like 2 interceptions.
We are the
and got
same
called
height. I
back.
could have been Drew Brees. I could have been Drew Brees. Anyway, but in all seriousness, I don't even remember what the heck. What was I saying?
Must win.
We're talking about if it's a must win.
Yes, absolutely. Because I know we're not statistics guys on here, and we're not analytics people, but the numbers show you start at 1 and 3. It's hard to make the playoffs. This team, in order to save this dwindling fan base, you need to make the playoffs. And right now, you're down 2 in your division already, with the Giants looking halfway decent this season.
Looking good. Shout out to the Giants, man. Get my man back in town. Get my man Landon Collins back in town, dog. Shout out to the Giants.
Listen, man, he shouldn't have left in the first place, but it's
Okay.
all good.
So you're down in the division 2 games. The Eagles, people are saying the Eagles are the best team in the league right now, not just the division or the conference in the league. So
And the
dude,
Giants are tough out. So
if you're going
And the
to
Cowboys,
make the
the Cowboys,
playoffs,
too.
you have Q Herm Edwards up. You play to win the daggone games. You got to beat the Bears. You got to beat the Titans. It starts this week with the Titans, and you got the defense to beat the Titans. You got to beat the Bears. Are the only other team I can think of that I've watched
that are so
that are struggling offensively as bad as the Commanders or worse.
I think they may be worse. They're
worse. Justin Fields hasn't thrown for over 175 yards in the game.
But you know what Justin Fields got though? No, he got legs and he's mobile. Mobile quarterbacks. Proud.
Listen, it don't even at the end of the day. But when you got the front four that Washington has, bro. Listen, again, I'm gonna keep referencing my squad. And I know it's different with Warren Sapp and that crew and Tampa, but they could care less about Vic. They knew that they could shut him down. Like it was no problem. And this
it wasn't just man, there's no Derrick Brooks on that squad, bro.
First and foremost,
there's no Derrick Brooks.
Okay, there's no Derrick Brooks. Wole, I wasn't even gonna take it there. I'm gonna take it to the guy that's not a Hall of Famer. There's no Simeon Wright.
Yeah, Simeon Wright's the beast.
I said that. I just said there's no Simeon Wright.
Yeah,
but
Derrick Brooks is the one.
Here's the funny part. I love it. Wole, a couple weeks ago, you was cutting me off to defend your squad. Now you cut me off and you going against your team. I'm trying to be Mo. I'm trying to be positive. I'm trying to be positive today by basically saying you have a really good front four. And
they play well.
But no. Jonathan Allen is a leader. I love him.
He's killing it. He's killing. I get Jonathan.
Absolutely, he's balling.
And Payne too. Payne with that bag. I give him credit too.
That's what I'm saying. The front four has that mentality. Like it don't matter who we line up against. We have the ability to dominate, and they have to go into these next 2 weeks with that mindset and get your team a win. Like that's what it is. Because Carson he's not going to be able to do that, and your offense doesn't look like they're going to lead it. Even though I love Brian Robinson, but if you're one-dimensional, I just don't feel like it's going to necessarily work out. But you don't have to be. Huh?
Say what?
Is he for sure playing this weekend?
It looks like it.
Okay.
It
Now,
looks like it. But I don't think he's not gonna get a lot. I don't think he's gonna get a lot of. He's not gonna get like 30, 20 carries.
He's not gonna lead the team. Okay. But back to Ray's point, right?
Okay.
You said it's a must win, but I don't think they're going to win. We haven't talked about the best player on the field on either side of the token in Derrick Henry at all.
Yeah.
And he's starting to get that mojo back. That groove. He's been
good. He's been good last 2 games.
I mean, the only thing that I feel is going to help Washington is this pass rush this weekend, because if Montez Sweat need to have one of those games, because Taylor Lewan is out, they're down to the backups back up. Yeah. Right? So Ben Jones and the guys in the middle, they're formidable. So even though John Allen and Deron Payne are playing lights out right now.
Both are playing lights out.
Montez Sweat, if Montez Sweat needs, he needs one of those DeMarcus Lawrence games against the Giants the other night. Right? Or he's getting enough pressure where he's causing so much disruption that the passing game is completely dismantled, and then you can focus in on that run, right? But I think this is a game for Montez Sweat to get out there and go show what he can do, because I don't think nobody else in the front seven has he has the most favorable matchup in the front seven. Let me say that.
This is Jameis week 2, by the way.
Jameis been all right, little by little.
No. That's what I'm saying. This is his week to finally feel more comfortable in that zone, because that's what I'm seeing. He's second guessing himself, and he's getting ran right past. All he has to do is play his part in the zone.
Wide receivers. By wide receivers.
I know, but still, you in the zone defense. Listen, I used to be a heavy dude. I love playing zones. I know I couldn't check nobody. Okay,
but you know what?
So I would play my position, and I would do it well with my slow footed stuff.
I need you to go on Twitter, because they actually show. Because to your point though, because I was thinking the same way at first. And then I went on Twitter.
He got exposed.
No, he did. No, at Twitter, but then there is clips of him doing like killing in the zone. Like he's starting to fry.
Well, that's my point. Yeah. This is the
but you're right though. I'm with you
to find your footing in that zone, because you're going up against Tannehill and guys who are not as talented as what you faced in the past several weeks. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. This is a perfect opportunity to be a defense that can get your team a win. That's what I'm saying. And I think
I do want to read this tweet though.
Disagree.
But I want to read this tweet though. Let me read this tweet though.
Oh, my bad.
Let me read this tweet real quick.
I get it though.
Let me read this
I'm
tweet.
Just saying. I'm trying to be the positive guy now.
On Twitter, Cameron said, yes, it's a cold red game for us. Got to get the game before Thursday night. Thursday night's game against the Bears, which you were talking about, Ray, like that Bears game. That's why it makes it like a must-win game. So go ahead, Mo. You want to talk about?
It's a must-win game, because if you win this game, you can possibly it's a high percentage that you're going to go on a 2-game win streak, right? That'll bring you back.
Some good teams. I don't know what everybody looking at the Bears.
That'll bring you to 3-3 on the season, right?
Yeah, why everybody act like all right? When I look at this Washington team, I don't think the Bears could beat Washington too.
The Bears are not it, man. Matt Nagy, I don't know what Matt Nagy did to that team before he departed, but he ain't it. Their best offensive player is hurt in David Montgomery, right? Well, Khalil Herbert looks like
Montgomery got hurt?
He was out last week. That's why Khalil Herbert's been going crazy the past 2 weeks.
All right, go ahead.
All right. And this team has been struggling against wide receivers. Their best receiver is Darnell Mooney. I'm not overly concerned.
He's good routes, though.
I'm not overly concerned about that, right? So to take it back to Tennessee, though, I don't see this being a game that Jamin can play in the zone phenomenal. This is a all hands on deck to stop the big fella in the backfield. And I can see people getting nosy. This is a trap game. This is one of those games where people start getting nosy, trying to creep up because they know Derrick Henry's back there. Somebody pops something right over the top of their head, right? And it'd be an unknown. It'd be an unknown that makes a big play because you were being nosy because 22's back there. Just 22 being on the field is a fear factor.
But when you say that to play devil's advocate, though, when you say played for last week, devil's advocate, when you say because the Dallas running game with two dudes, and I don't think Zeke's that good, but the other dude, I like Pollard. I love to like Pollard is a killer. Like they was stout against that joint. Like they was stout. They was stout. Go ahead. I'm saying like
Tony Pollard only had 8 carries. Don't get me wrong. Had.
But there was no running lane though. You ever watch the game? There was no running lane for him.
He had more carries than he had yards.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, but like Zeke ain't.
I'm not putting it on Zeke. I'm saying Tony Pollard averages a bust like a big, like he is he's big play, and he wasn't getting no length. And usually as a dude watches, he does damage against Washington too. Like I'm not even like
But
Tony Tyler
I
does
think
damage.
the difference was, I think that's the game that you saw where the difference was without Dak being back there.
No, I agree. But you got Tannehill.
I don't think you guys were afraid of their passing game.
I don't think you're going to be, to your point though. You just said they losing Burks. I don't think they're going to be scared of the Titans passing game.
Absolutely.
So I'm just saying, like, I feel like there's more. I got Henry on my fantasy football team. I'm not benching him at all. I'm not telling you like he's not gonna like fry. I'm not saying. I just think that there is more. I do think it won't, like, if they had some of their weapons back, I think it'd be, he could definitely eat even thoroughly. But I think there is a chance that they can contain him. I don't think you stop a dude like Henry for real. Like he wears you down.
That's okay. Well, every team I try to compare Washington to, I know y'all gonna get me, because I was gonna say, now if you watch the Colts last year, right? Because that's the scary part, because they know Carson. The Titans know Carson wins. But at the same time, if you watch how the Colts defended Derrick Henry, they did not let him get downhill at all, and that prevented him from even getting going. It reminds me when TJ Duckett, if he got going, it was a wrap. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying, no, we know Derrick Henry is by far better than TJ Duckett. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying.
I know Darius Leonard.
I know. I knew you was gonna say that. I know. I'm just saying. Like I said, I can't make no good comparisons, because right now Washington is just struggling to a point where I can't compare him to no other team that has had success in the way that we're trying to say would make them successful. That makes sense what I'm trying to say. But at the same time, to me, the Colts put the perfect blueprint out there these past few seasons at how to limit Derrick Henry. And I feel like Washington they can do that with their front four, because their front four is strong. Yeah. And also, I feel like Cam Curl he's looked better. I mean, he's been fine. He's always good. He's always
the highest rated safety in football last week.
Absolutely. So my point is, I feel as though we're kind of giving too much love to Tennessee right now and not enough love to the Commanders defense.
No, I will say, no, to your point, no, I'm not going to. I think the last 2 weeks, run defense, right? We're talking run defense.
Exactly.
They've been good. Like, I'm not going fry them. Last 2 weeks, the Eagles, who run the ball pretty much, their backs have been good this year. The Eagles and this against the Cowboys.
Commanders going to get this one. They're going to get this one. And
I'm not saying that. Defense. I'm not saying they stop it. Don't listen to me. Anybody who listens to the show, I'm not saying they stop it.
Oh, I'm not saying that either, but I'm saying,
because I love Derrick Henry.
I'm saying that they can shut down Tannehill, though. I can say that. And if they play half of what they have on defense, I mean half of the way they have against the run on defense this week, I feel like you give your team a shot. And that's where Carson, he takes chances. That's why I love the fact he's not a check down Charlie, because this is the perfect week to take some chances.
Hey man, we done prognosticated. We done scrambled this egg over hard, all that, right? About this game. What's your prediction?
Right.
Since I know who you got, but what's the score? I know who you got. What's the score, right?
I'm going 2017 Washington. If you watch Tennessee play, they're not a high scoring offense. And neither is Washington right now.
Yeah, not at all.
However, I do feel as though, again, if you step up defensively the way I'm speaking of, you run the ball the way you guys are talking about, you control clock, and you control field position, I think you can set yourself up to have a game-winning field goal or to prevent Tennessee from scoring. Because if Tennessee, let's say they got the ball last, they're down 3, you got to throw the ball. Well, no, you don't actually. That's the problem. Damn. I'm trying, y'all. I really am trying, because I felt myself navigating into this dude that just like was hating the Commanders for a while, just because for different reasons. It felt kind of good for a minute, but at the same time, but no, I do like the talent. I mean, I said this last year when I watched them, and this season, and everybody's saying the same thing. With this amount of talent on both sides of the ball, there's no reason you should be 1-3. Period.
Yeah, I agree.
And I feel as though you should not lose at home. This is a home game too, where Tennessee doesn't travel well, like Philly.
Jacksonville traveled okay too, and they were the Jaguars. They traveled okay.
Who you got?
My prediction:
2017 Commanders. Let's go.
I got it 17-13 Commanders. I think it'll be a low scoring game.
They get 5+ sacks.
Because I don't think that, like Ray said, I think only because I feel like they're going to play a ball control game, and this is the perfect offense for that, because this offense doesn't have a lot of weapons other than Derrick Henry. So if you get an opportunity to limit a team that doesn't have weapons, then you have an opportunity to kind of own the game. So I think that because of what I heard Rivera say, I kind of like they're gonna go that route. So if they go that route, I think this is a game to win. And Tannehill is like Ray mentioned, like I'm not saying Tannehill is like horrible, but he ain't. I mean, he's better than Cooper Rush. So I don't feel like I'm not going to insult Tannehill. I'm not going to do that. He's better than Cooper Rush.
Yeah, but he ain't got CD Lamb though.
Yeah,
Tannehill don't have CD Lamb.
But is he better than Carson Wentz?
With Tannehill? If Tannehill was here with this coordinator, no, because he sucks. Because coordinator sucks. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Tannehill may have better pocket presence than Carson Wentz. I would say that.
You've seen him up how many games? Like, Tannehill's pocket presence ain't that good either. But really, it ain't that great. He can run, but it ain't great.
But he'll make a safe pass. He'll make a safe pass.
He'll be safe. Yeah, but he's not better than Carson. He's not better than Carson.
I ain't saying he is.
I was about to say, when it gets ugly for Tannehill, it's a bunch of incompletions. When it gets ugly for Carson, it goes to the picks.
Yeah, I know. I agree.
He gets sacked like crazy.
But see, Tannehill gets sacked too. The thing is, it's hard.
That's what I'm saying. I'm telling you, the defense is coming.
They both say he gets sacked. Tannehill gets sacked. They're too like I know you're talking about Tannehill is he's a different quarterback, but I do think that when he's good is when he can be play action. He do play action. The run game's moving. He has that one. Well, he doesn't have AJ Brown, what makes it hard. But you know what I'm saying? He's better off. We've seen him without this type of style in Miami, and you know what kind of quarterback Tannehill is. So
I'm picking Tennessee.
What's the score, Mo? What's the score?
Yeah, score?
I'm picking Tennessee. I'm taking your score, 20-17.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I think that's
I'm fine with that.
I don't think to me this is like a.
It's even.
It's even. Not.
What's the line? What's the line?
I feel like Tennessee's better. Like Tennessee's better than me. Like I'm not gonna lie to you. I think Tennessee's better.
Let me see what the line is.
Let me see. Week 5.
And when y'all read, I'm gonna read this comment on Facebook. One man Rob on Facebook said, in terms of a must win, he said yes because 1-4 might make it really difficult for this season to be salvageable. There you go, salvageable.
They're going to be 3-3. They're going to win these next 2 weeks, and it's going to give hope to people like Wole again.
The Bears beat.
Still going to Scott.
The Bears beat. So the Bears beat. The Bears won 2 games, right?
The Bears.
Yeah, they beat the Niners in week 1.
Yeah, they're 2-2. Yes.
And they beat who else?
Who did they beat?
They played the Texans, right? They beat the Texans.
Yeah, they beat the Texans, but they got destroyed by Green Bay, and they also the Giants.
I mean, that's fair. The Giants are good teams. They lost to good teams.
But they scored 10 points. They've scored 12. They scored 19.
They won.
I'm just saying they don't score.
They playing, but which defense will they be playing? They'll be playing Washington's defense. Ain't like exactly. Why do people keep doing this to the Bears? Like why folks be shortchanging the Bears? The
I'm
Bears
not shortchanging the Bears.
Not you. I feel like people in general, like yes, they've like. I don't think the quarterback play is great, but I'm just saying also I'm like they beat some
that's
teams.
what it comes down to, Wole. The NFL comes down to quarterback play.
There's some bad quarterback play this year, dog. Even Russell Wilson.
Tennessee is 1.5 point favorites
on the road.
On the road.
That's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough.
So that's disrespectful right
to
there.
Washington. Yeah, to Washington.
It's so disrespectful. That's what I'm saying.
I'm looking at 2 money lines that got Commanders 2.5.
It depends, man.
But I think that goes back to Wole's point, though, right? This is a toss 'em up game. This is a game that I'm not touching. If I'm betting, I'm not touching it.
Yeah, I don't think it's like. I think if you're looking at the Titans, 100% having them the kid from Arkansas and Burt, I think I would have them. I think I would have them overtaking the nine. If Taylor Wan wasn't out, I feel like it's not even him. If Taylor Wan wasn't out, yeah, I can give him. I definitely feel comfortable giving the Titans because Taylor. That's a lot.
I'll tell you why I think the Titans are going to win. I think with the decimation of the offensive line in the middle, Jeffrey Simmons is too good of a player to not impact Carson and make Carson have to get off of his spot, right? And we all know what happens to Carson when he gets off of his spot.
Yeah, but I think I agree with you. I agree. This is my thing with Carson. I think he's better. I think he's like. I actually think more of the issue is the edge. I think edge rushers because the edge rushers are the thing with him. Like he can kind of maneuver off the middle a little bit. It's if you get pressure off the edge, it don't matter because like Ray said, his pocket presence is bad. He'll walk right into a sack on a dude off the edge. Like he'll walk right into it. That's why Ryan Kerrigan, when he played against the Eagles, he have a field day against Carson. He would, because he would always walk right into him.
But I also think that like it doesn't bode well that Jeffrey Simmons can. I think Jeffrey Simmons I really think this might be an unpopular opinion. He's definitely, to me, he's a top 5. He's a top 5 and maybe closer to 3 D tackle in the league. Like position, like you talking about ability and production. Like I think he's next. Like he's really next. Like he's like that big bully on the schoolyard. Like he's a problem.
No, I think you're right. Yeah.
And then why I think it also affects Carson is that he's going to be without 2 of his playmakers this year. He's going to be without Curtis, and he's going to be without Jahan. So that leaves
Curtis Curtis Samuel.
Curtis Samuel's on the injury report. He might not play.
Oh, he'll play. Curtis will play. He's not the one that's going to play. Yeah, Curtis going to play. What's name not going to play?
Okay, they got Jahan
not
on
going to play. Well, let me say this. I'll tell you this. It looks Curtis should play. If he doesn't, whatever.
He should play. I was reading reports earlier that Cam Sims is in line for a big workload.
They said it was Diami. Everybody looking at Diami because they need a speed dude.
Let's give up on Diami.
Curtis Samuel will probably play.
Yeah, he'll play.
It looked like something like a minor.
Yeah, he'll play. It's not.
It looked like he said he missed practice today. So
yeah, it's like what's the name? Yeah, they just like he'll be playing. He'll be practicing.
Okay, cool. So I'm looking at it like if they can double Terry, and Jeffrey can get the pressure that I think he's going to get in the middle. I think he makes his edge rushers seem even better than they are.
No, I know. I think that that's to your valid point. I think to your point, that's what makes it valid. Before we end the show off, their weakness is strength, because he is the dog in the middle, and their weakness right now is the interior. So Wash's interior is the weakness. So you're right. I think to your point, and it all works. It all works together. So you're gonna have to overcome, dominate in the middle, one-on-one on the edges, and they're gonna have opportunity to kind of go after the quarterback. But again, it all predicates off of if Scott Turner decides to throw the ball a whole bunch of times. You know what I'm saying? #fire Scott Turner. Like, so if it's on that round, if he gets more, if he's like more stubborn and like runs the football and works off of that, there's so much you can do. Because if now you have that defensive line, Mo, you coach. If you have that defensive line thinking, oh, this is pass, not this is pass, not run, and moving the pocket, right, moving it, and you kind of have it, looking like it's going to be a run and it's a real play action. Now you're like, oh, now you're more passive. So to me, it's all about the game plan. You know who you have on your roster. You know who's going to be on your team. You know what Carson could do. By now, we done 4 games already, bro. You already know what Carson is when in the pocket. You already know. If you continue to have Carson do 7-step drops on a bad offensive line, that's all on you. You know what I'm saying? That's all on you. So we'll see what happens, man. But hey, subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, or Google Podcasts. Just search all Burgundy and Gold Errrything. Also tweet us at ABG_Errrything. And hit us up on IG at ABG_Errrything. And like our All Burgundy and Gold Errrything Facebook page. Make sure you subscribe to our All Burgundy and Gold Errrything YouTube channel as well. Hit subscribe. Like the videos. We growing, man. We growing. Hey, thank you all for tuning in. You've been listening to All Burgundy and Gold Errrything, powered by the Urban Sports Scene and Fox Sports Radio 96.9 FM and 1340 AM. Hopewell, Virginia, for ages. You dig? Deuces. Hey, Mega, lead us out, big homie.